There we go. We're recording now.
Okay. It's got to be 3:30. Hello, folks. I see people here. Thank you for coming to Wild Wild WestCon 13 and a half. And you've got me for an hour. I am Halcyon Astell, and just in case you don't recognize my voice, and I present the Apocalypse Later Roadshow sets at Wild Wild WestCon. I've been doing that for, oh, wow, a long time. This is my 11th. I started at Wild Wild WestCon 3. So yeah, it's been a while. I presume we've got some people here who have been to my sets before. I think I recognize, yes, I recognize some names. And I'm sure there are people who have not been to my sets before. So what I do is I put together sets of short film at Wild Wild WestCon. That's generally steampunk, of course, from all over the world. They've got to be good, and they've got to be steampunk. And I have a lot of fun finding them. It's getting harder because I've done so many now. But I put them together in sets, get permission, and I screen them to you guys at the convention. This is a bonus set, and because we're online, a lot of the films that I screen are not available. They're still doing the film festival circuit. They've never been released online, so I can't screen any of those. For those of you at Wild Wild WestCon 13, in March, I had a whole brand new set of really cool stuff, none of which I'm going to show you today. You're going to have to wait till Wild Wild WestCon 14 for those. Sorry. These are going to be repeats, and I think given where we went with Wild Wild WestCon 13, I'm going to go a little bit different. That was all sort of dark horror theme to go with Steampunk Halloween, but it didn't end up great at the end with how it ended. So I'm going to give you a nice, happy, family-friendly set with a lot of action and romance and comedy, just to cheer you up on a Saturday afternoon. I should give you a couple of links. Pop them in the chat. That's where you can find the Roadshow, roadshow.apocalypselaterempire.com. That is details of...
Hal, you just sent that to me, not the group.
I just sent that to you. Let me send it to everybody. Copy, paste. Now it's gone to the group. There we go. Thank you, Corey. That's lots of details of what I've done at other events, Wild Wild WestCon and other conventions. And you can click into those pages and see where some of these films are available to watch online, and also at IMDb, and you can follow through to all sorts of stuff. So if you want to catch up with old films, that's a good place to go. I've also put an information sheet together for today, if I remember what I called it. And I think it's there. Maybe it isn't. Let me check. I will share the PDF. So you can see everything that I'm going to be screening today. It is there. Okay, that's alr50.pdf. Where did the Zoom session go? I've lost you. Oh, there you are. I'll figure that out and put it in chat while we're screening. So you're going to see some interesting stuff today from a number of countries. The stuff that is not American or British is generally not going to have much need to understand a foreign language. They're either just music and everything else, the voices are silent, or I think there's one that's a music video where you don't need to understand what's being said in the slightest. There's probably a little intro and outro where you get some subtitles, but it's about it. If you want to read along, you can, but you don't have to. You can just enjoy the song. And we're going to bring you some stuff from countries that you might not expect. We're going to start off with a nice action animation from Belarus. We've got that music video from Lithuania and all sorts of other interesting stuff. So action, comedy, romance to make you happy for a Saturday afternoon. Getting ahead of myself. And did I put sound back on? I did not. Let's have sound. And let's kick off with Steam Speed. Let me check first. I'm presuming we've got video lag because I certainly have here.
It's really jerky. If I were you, I'd try to reduce the resolution and it might be better.
Yeah, I think I may have a backup here that's a smaller file.
We had issues with this particular one on previous occasions too, because of that. If you remember that, dear.
Very possibly. So this is a lower quality version of the same thing.
A little more sound.
I finished it. It's done. My newest creation is all ready. I can hardly wait to send it off to the Inventors Institute. Then they'll approve it, I'll become a member, and I'll finally be a real inventor. Now all I have to do is send it off and wait for the reply. Any day now. Still nothing. Kind of what the membership card feels like. It's here, it's finally here. Look, there's the seal. I can't look. I have to look. A simple no would have sufficed. This is good. I'm clearly not cut out to be an inventor. Best I'll learn that now and move on. Maybe find a husband. Fools! All of them! I will make them rue the day they rejected me. This is all George Caldwell's fault. That fool would know a genius if it came up and bit him. It's a good thing I'm not around him or that might actually come to pass. I wonder what Dreamkiller tastes like. I did everything right. I filled out the proper paperwork, I sent in the prototype, I even used a male alias just in case. But I'll show him. I'll show them all. The next masterpiece will put an end to their ignorance forever.
Elizabeth! It's almost tea time.
Okay.
You need to get ready.
I don't want any tea today.
Nonsense. Of course you'll have tea. You have a suitor calling on you after all. Come, you should have been ready a half hour ago.
Elizabeth, let me introduce Mr. Cardwell. Mr. Cardwell, I believe you already know my niece, Elizabeth Brown.
Yes, but this is the first time I've had the pleasure to meet her in person.
Elizabeth, Mr. Cardwell works at the Inventors Institute.
Oh. How fascinating.
Oh, I'm afraid it is not as exciting as it sounds. I wouldn't dream of boring you with the details.
I'll go attend the tea. You two continue.
Oh. Forgive me. I had no idea we'd be alone.
We like to be a bit more personal in this house. For example, you may call me Elizabeth, and I may call you...
George, yes, of course.
George Caldwell.
Well, then I hope it isn't too forward of me to say that I've admired you from afar for quite some time. The first time I saw you...
Forgive me, would you excuse me for just a moment?
Yes, of course.
Using the alias has worked better than I dreamed. He's unwittingly wandered into my clutches. Now let us see him try to reject his doom.
Elizabeth?
You know me better as Mr. Jules Burroughs, a fake name for real brilliance.
Burroughs. Jules Burroughs. Wait! I remember. So you're telling me that you're the chap who invented the chicken gun?
It was genius! Such an elegant and powerful weapon, propelling poultry at a staggering 10 hens per minute. It's my best work. But you disagreed, denying my submission because it was silly, impractical, and apparently fails to even being an intimidating weapon. So, wasn't deadly enough for you? Fine. Perhaps this will meet with your approval. It takes a moment to warm up.
I realize that I may be a bit biased, what with my life on the line and all, but I do believe there's been a misunderstanding. I didn't deny your submission.
I have your signature right here.
No, you don't understand. I'm George Caldwell Jr. My father is George Caldwell Sr. He is the head of the Inventors Institute. I only work in the submissions department. It's not really my place to say, but I rather like the chicken gun. No, I loved it. It was wrong of them to deny your submission. It is a perfectly terrifying weapon. And so is your new one.
Really? You liked it? That's very sweet of you.
Elizabeth! Honestly, trousers in front of a suitor. We will never get you married off.
Whatever is wrong, sister?
I bring terrible news. There was an accident last night on the Derby Express.
My darling Brentley was on that train.
A collision overturned the first-class compartment.
Where is he? I must rush to his hospital bedside and nurse him back to health.
Louise! There were no survivors.
Perhaps he did not catch the train. He may have walked the 153 miles to Matlock. He is very fond of the fresh country air.
His luggage and personal effects were found amongst the wreckage.
Perhaps he was hiding from the ticket inspector in the lavatory and lies there still undetected. Unconscious, perhaps, but very much alive.
Darling Lou, I fear he is gone.
No. He will drag himself home to me. He loves me too much to leave me without a husband.
I'm so sorry. Brentley is dead. Where are you going?
Life is not worth living. I must leave this cruel world.
Sister, you were in shock. Don't do anything rash in this moment. Why don't you recline on the chaise longue?
I cannot live if I am unmarried.
Oh, you've such a lot to live for.
Not without my Brentley.
But you don't need Brentley to be complete.
Oh, pish. What is a woman without a husband?
To marry another. You're only 25.
I'm 26. I'll be illegitimate, invisible, wanton. Society will brand me a pariah.
Not at all. You can live as an unmarried woman, and if there is any justice in the world, not a soul should start handing you about that until you are at least 30.
But if I don't have a husband, then I wouldn't be constantly pregnant. I would have my period every month, and that is disgusting.
Well, you could have children without being married. Or you could choose not to have children and just manage your period discreetly.
What if it rains? How will I cross puddles?
Oh, you can walk around them. I'll show you how.
Who would buy me flowers and chocolate?
Purchase them yourself. You can get a job.
Are you suggesting I whore myself for money?
Not all working women are... It's actually a perfectly legitimate choice, but learn to read and you can be anything that you want.
Could I be a nurse? Bentley often used to ask me to dress as a nurse.
You could be a doctor. You could be a high court judge. You could be a novelist and use your own name. You could do anything.
Could I be Prime Minister?
Yes! Oh, but better than that. You could be...
President of the United States of America.
Indeed? In theory? No. But I was going to say fossil hunter. Discover radioactivity, win a Nobel Prize. Goodness, Louise, become a famous actress, seduce a prince, and then bring down the entire royal family from the inside. The world lies at your enviably tiny feet.
So you're saying I can do all those things and earn as much as a man?
You can do all of those things and earn nearly as much as a man.
Can I have a boyfriend?
You could have a girlfriend.
Interesting.
And one day, you'll be able to have as many sexual partners as any man without being labelled a slag.
Surely not.
You'll be free to wear the same frock to every dance without raising an eyebrow.
Go back to the bit about the sexual partners.
You'll bicycle to a bustling cafe and breastfeed your fatherless babe in public without meeting with a single peep of disapproval. You'll be able to do anything.
Could I sleep with Robert?
Charlotte's husband?
Yes.
No, Charlotte is your dear friend.
But you said I could do anything.
Within reason.
And Robert has cheekbones to die for.
Well, that is true. But what
So it's settled. I'm going to go and make love to Robert right now.
No, sister! You are in shock! Don't do anything rash in this moment. Why don't you recline on the chaise longue?
My darling Josephine, thank you. You've opened my eyes to a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell me no, or where to go, or say I'm only dreaming. Oh, no! Brentley!
I was involved in a train collision. Mercifully, my fall was cushioned by the body of a ticket inspector by whom I had just been apprehended in the lavatory. I was broken. But I dragged myself home for you. After all, what is a woman without a husband? Society would brand you a pariah.
Hormones. You don't need a wife to be complete. Now you're free to do whatever you want.
Can I sleep with Robert?
be like Icarus in the sky.
He said he's found a way to fly.
He'll be a legend for all time.
That crazy bastard's gonna die.
Oh, everybody look to the sky for McDonald. Dun, dun, dun.
Morgan and Destiny's 11th date, the Zeppelin Zoo. 'Twas a shiny bright earth spin, and the up-over was a sheeny Cabaltic blue fest. High up top the big smoke, the Zeppelin Zoo whisked through the geogas. It was a balloonic arc, a sky safari, and extra factly on this desiccated earth spin, it was the date place for our man Morgan M. Morganson and his love buddy Destiny. The passion pair love-strolled through the animalium, paw-tangled. Their sea globes met, flit-tweets bar-locked, fin beasts tanked, and primates prisonized. Destiny superlated the snuffleucks, lollified the long necks, and rapturized the black-masked rare bears as they bamboozled. Bag hidden in Destiny's paw pouch, Madame Bolifer, Destiny's pamperfied purr pet, sea-peeped over bag, then re-snuggled bagwards, disimpressed. The love buddies approximated themselves to Rare Bear's treat buggy, and there, costumated as a monochromic rare bear, stood the food penguin, lemon-faced as ever. The duo partook in a pair of pink fluff pops. Destiny masticated her sugar stick saxifragously, leaving Morgan haberdashed. So hornified was he that he was blinkerfied to the slinkish arrivement of Lionel, Destiny's pre-now love buddy and a cognified, smarmerific Lothariator. Morgan spit-swallowed at the sight of this regalite, this masculate heart-stealer. Oh, he was a braceful and bashless califrag, this one. Morgan was shock-shook out of his glaze by a yay from a flabbergastic Destiny. Madame Bolifer had disapparated, fleed the refugeous innards of Destiny's paw pouch, and gone catabout.
Oh, tragedious wrong hap! What uber humalian, what alpha knight will revicinate my flituous fluff friend?
The bestashed suitors locked squintish sea globes, dual-bound. The competing califrag seeked up and downish for the cutish cat critter. Lionel dove and dashed while Morgan creeped and purr-called, but the perjuous purr-pet was no place to be sea-globed. Luck lacking, Morgan slomped downbeat onto a long tree person holder aside the food penguin, who so happened to be on his work gap. The gent was chopping a speary eat stick, a mouse cub kebab of impaled field furries, their pink eyes scare-stuck, their ringlet tail strings rigor-mortized. Morgan hammocked his top bulb in his person paws and let a long stream of air out of his face-hole.
I see your perjuous purr-pet has embodied the purr-beast,
benefacted the food penguin, a tail string twinkling betwixt his citrus lips. Sure as earth spins, there in the big-maned purr-beast's bar box was Madame Bolifer, cutish snuggled under the purr-beast's enormopaw and jubified to the max. As Morgan fastly vicinitated himself to the bar box for his fluff-freeing feat, Lionel apparated, duel-ready. Bashless, the mouse suitor uprolled his arm coverers and brawl-begged.
Deparalyze my poorly purr-pet!
A dinger dinged, and the leisure spot hence came a duelish pain pit. The flat gabbets fap-slapped, duck-dove, and flea-jigged, slam-bammed, limb-cranked, and flank-yanked, pride-locked in their dueling dance. Out-muscled, Morgan was fastly grounded. The opportunist Lionel backstepped, primed for a grand slam. Same time, the gayshly pro-Morgan food panda fast-flung his yurch stick into Lionel's pain path. Mid-murderous lurch, Lionel silly-slipped on the foodie traps, sending the mouse morsels sky-gliding into the purr-beast's bar box. Lionel yeeked, girlish as he up-footed, then down-slammed. Gogglebirds tweeted circlish round Lionel's dazed head front. Morgan uprighted himself, pummelfied. He fast-glance spied that the big-maned jungle giant was now divertously nomming the catapult's Yutz treat. The purr-pet was guardless. Morgan chest puffed and peril paired himself. Destiny lash-flapped butterflated as her true alpha knight shimmied the bar box. Our day saver slinked into the danger den and pad-soft, toe-stepped petwards. He paw-scooped Madame Bolifer into his top limbs and fastly exit-aimed. Still ground-bound, that dastardly dipstick, Lionel cat-called, diverting the jungle beast from his eat bait and vectorizing his feline sea globes to our man Morgan. Morgan fast-footed safeward, supernormal speedish, the growled purr monster, yappish at his leg ends. Destiny master sea globes with a person paw, two tum-tangled spectires. In an off-feet of wildness, Morgan spring-pulted somersaultish and down-dropped to the safe and sound, with Madame Bolifer tight-locked under limb. Destiny quickish snoogled her freed fluff friend, then angled, Bambi-eyed, Morganwards. Her head front was awash with apprecious butterflation and full-heart love-lust. Lionel, diminuted and ungruntled, his alpha state debunked, slinked into the no-place, self-saying some jibberjack about an after-now vengement. Madame Bolifer frisbeed an info square to the blub-trolling jungle giant. The enormal kitten lip-lifted, jubilated to have acquainted this new purr-pal. Destiny snuggle broke, suddenish, and touched her bottom lip with her top jumpers. Morgan M. Morganson, you are my solo love buddy, my butterflate of man pet, my testosteronic alpha knight. Morgan pinkified at this linguistic love pouring, then full-face lip-locked his love buddy. Morgan shot a solo sea globe at the panda-dressed pro-pair person, the food-bringer lip-lifted, recapitated his rare bear head cover, and disapparated, leaving the love-joined duo to consummate their recoupling. And as the great balloonic arc wished up over the skags of suburban Sellisage, little did they comprehend that this enormous blimp contained not only a plethora of rare pets, but also a duet of the most felicitous persons in the full globe infinispace, Morgan M. Morganson and his destiny.
Daug dienų ant pilko kranto plauks laivai iš už Atlanto, grįž laivai, parneš sapnus. Gal parneš jie tave į mano krantą, kur širdis kažko neranda, kur sapnai tik apie mus. Būrės apkabins vėją palengva iš lėto, iš lėto. Bangos atgaivins veidą sapnuose regėtą, regėtą. Būrės apkabins vėją palengva iš lėto, iš lėto. Bangos atgaivins veidą sapnuose regėtą, regėtą.
Once upon a time lived a romantic man and a romantic woman. The first time he saw her, she had her hair pulled back in a loose bun so that the wind enhanced her simultaneously careful and careless work of tufted art. As he stared, he was struck by the smell of freshly baked bread, French, a baguette carried in an antique handlebar basket. She was riding a vintage bicycle, perfectly aged so the rust aesthetically enhanced the carefully crafted machine. And she was riding this bicycle in a skirt. The first time she saw him, he was driving a vintage convertible, a car clearly owned by someone who values classic beauty over flash and flare. He was lighting a pipe, which he lit with a match, not a lighter. Slightly dizzied by the aroma of artisan hand-mixed Moroccan tobacco, she saw the man check the time on his pocket watch. Whether her well-timed accident was caused by random fortune or cosmic intervention, they would never know or question. It was, obvious to them, a part of their fairy tale. And as the prince in the story, saving the damsel in distress, he knew he was made for this moment, as was she. Intoxicated by infatuation and the flawlessness of the moment, they imagined an immense depth and complexity in each other. She saw in him someone who likely loved books other people pretended to read, who probably sculpted emotive nudes which he would then shatter because they were dangerously captivating, and who, surely, in another life, was a bow-wielding vigilante able to strike an evil man down from 100 yards. He saw in her someone who must be a poet, and who, surely, composed prolific photographs which would not be publicly appreciated until long after her death. And so, as they lost themselves in these romantic fantasies, he gently treated her wound with a homeopathic herb poultice, and she utilized her antique Polaroid camera to take a sublimely vignetted photograph of the moment. The moment they fell in love. Sadly, however, there was a terminal flaw within this auspicious encounter. For the lovers prided themselves so deeply in their own romanticism that both desperately wanted to prove how most innately and most eruditely romantic they were. But there is an inherent problem with superlatives. There can be only one. Those are beautiful. Do you ride horseback? Yes, I do, she lied. I love horses. Such classical creatures. I'd imagined you did. There's nothing I love more. Save for ballet, taken aback a bit. You danced too. Paris Opera Ballet for 3 years. The man suddenly realized that she might be more romantic than he, and looking for an opportunity to regain lost ground, I use an antique straight razor. There's nothing better really, but you need a skilled hand to use one. I'd imagine it requires a similar technique to that of ancient calligraphy. I had little time for such skills because of my dedication to painting and archery. And with these tit-for-tat exchanges, an unhealthy obsession had begun to grow within them, to slowly, and of course lovingly, defeat one another. Neither would submit. The man determined to complete his gentlemanly repertoire. And the woman set out to hone her noble skills. And so, exhausted and driven to the mental brink by their mutually exclusive goals, they approached an impasse where one of them must break. His honor had been challenged, and while he did not know a great deal about honor, he knew it sounded romantic. A duel, pistols, at sunrise, full of her own scorned fury, the woman would not retreat, but she also did not want to die. And knowing, or rather believing, the man to be a crack shot, she devised a plan to ensure she would attain all the things she wanted. She would ruin the aim of both guns, thereby guaranteeing her survival, regardless of the gun he chose. But the perfection of her plan was this. She had no intention of firing her own weapon, but instead would dramatically cast it aside. Because she knew, if it appeared that she, so filled with romantic love, was unable to fire upon her lover, even as he tried to strike her down, then she would finally beat him. But as was always the case with these two ill-fated lovers, their plans did not coincide, and he had plans of his own. He knew that his aim was anything but accurate, and he knew that actually shooting her was not something he would ever be able to do. So he came ready to be shot. If it appeared that she, in violent anger, had mortally wounded him, a wound he would miraculously survive, and if she believed that he, though a crack shot, had been spurred by love to intentionally miss her, then there would be no question that he, and he alone, was the most romantic. What neither of them knew, however, was that his inaccuracy was an issue of simple grade school geometry. While he knew he was right-handed, he didn't realize he was a left-eye dominant, which for one made monocle use difficult, and similarly made his line of aim always completely off. One common way to compensate for this angular problem would be to hold the weapon in the left hand. The other would be to bend the barrel. As she lay there, she tried to ascertain where her carefully laid plan had gone awry, and why it was that she was now dying by pistol shot in the arms of her scorned lover, while wearing a classically gorgeous white dress, on a molted deathbed of oak leaves, in a picturesque wooded glen. Something occurred to her. This was unquestionably, irrefutably, and irrevocably the most romantic thing that could ever happen. Simultaneously, as he sat there, holding his dead lover, he tried to ascertain where his carefully laid plan had gone awry, why it was that he was now weeping over her tragically splayed body and proclaiming to the heavens, "I cannot live without her," while watching the dark blood exquisitely stain her gorgeous white dress on a molted deathbed of oak leaves, in a picturesque wooded glen. Something occurred to him. Now this was unquestionably, irrefutably, and irrevocably the most romantic thing that could ever happen. And so, the romantic man and the romantic woman died happily ever after.
Okay, so I need to mute that one now, I guess. There's the set for today. I hope you enjoyed. And let me share those links again. Okay, put 3 links in the chat. First one is to the Apocalypse Read Roadshow. That's where you can see all of the things I've shown at previous events, and I realized today this is my 50th mini film festival for conventions, so number 50. You can see the 49 others there and follow links to see where you can watch some of those online. There's an information sheet, PDF that you can take a look at. That's everything I screened today. And again, with details of where you can see those again online. So if you were one of the people who found that there was lag on the video or something like that, you can watch pristine copies yourself on Vimeo or YouTube. And there's also Steampunk Short Films, which is a book I put together. It's one of the Apocalypse Later zines, and you can buy that at Amazon, or you can wait till next year and buy it from me at my table at Wild Wild West Con. And I talk about a couple of these films in that book. So that is it. Thank you all for coming. And if I can figure out how to stop sharing, maybe I'll just leave in that window